Hi, today we're going to present about free fall, vertical throw direct downwards, and vertical throw direct upwards. I'm gonna explain free fall. A free falling object is an object that is falling under influence by gravity. An object that has no other force than gravity is said to be in free fall. Gravity is the common force all objects in Earth have and pushes us downwards. That is why gravity value will always be negative. Gravity is equal to minus 9.8 meters per square second. We can see free fall in, for example, throwing a ball that has no other force from a big tower, such as Galileo did when he discovered gravity law.
I'm going to explain vertical throw downward, and basically this movement is when we throw something to the ground or when we put a force in an object throwing it to the ground. So in this movement the initial velocity will be different from zero, and this is what makes it different from free fall, because in free fall we have always zero as the initial velocity because the object is in rest, and in here we are putting force on it. So this will make that the final velocity will increase even more, but in a negative way, and its position will be even more down than when we do free fall because of the force in it.
An object is thrown with certain initial velocity, it gains a kinetic energy at the moment of the throwing. This happens because potential energy is directly proportional to the height of the object. Now, from the law of the conservation of the energy, we can say this rise in potential energy is happening at the cost of some form energy being transformed. Here is kinetic energy of the object, which is expressed as 0.5 meters. As height rises, velocity falls, which results in reduction of kinetic energy and corresponding rise in potential energy. At one point, kinetic energy becomes zero. Differently, we can say that kinetic energy availed by the thrown object gets corroded under the negative influence of opposite directly gravity. Considering the resistance of drag force negligible, the only force acting on the ball is gravity. The gravitational pull of the Earth towards the center of the heat. It's pretty evident that after the upward throw, the velocity of the gradually ball decreases. Negative acceleration was working on the ball. The acceleration is negative because the acceleration is directing downwards while the ball is moving upwards, and because of this negative acceleration, the velocity of the ball is gradually decreasing. To find the maximum height in an exercise of vertical throw directed upwards, first we have to find what time it happens. For that, we must assume that the velocity in that instant is zero. We match this in the second equation. Once we know the instant the maximum height happens, now we find this value using the third equation.
We can see these three types of movements in one single sport, and it's called basketball. We can see free fall when we're just holding the ball and the ball is resting in our hand and then we just let it go. That will be free fall. We can also see the vertical throw downward when we are bouncing the ball or playing with it. We can also see the vertical move upward. When we start the game, they throw the ball upward, so the two players need to jump to win it. And those are the examples that we can find in basketball.
For summarizing the important points, we can say that the initial velocity in free fall will always be zero. In the vertical throw directed downwards will always be negative, and in the vertical throw directed upwards will always be positive.